Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Sunday, April 7th. Hope you guys all had an excellent weekend. I see a few of you here in the chat. We're going to let a few other folks come in. Sorry for the late start here. I was trying to start at the top of the hour, but I was also trying to finish my Sunday update for you. So that just got published to the YouTube channel, about a, I don't know, 5 or 10 minute video going over a couple of key items from last week and what I'm looking at going into next week in the stock market. So go check that out after this live stream's over, or if you're watching it on replay, go check it out. Tonight, we're going to talk about crypto. I have a couple of guests I've been talking to for a long time, trying to get them schedules lined up to come on here and talk to you guys about crypto. And you and I, you, the audience, and I have talked about it many times, and especially in the Discord, I've been telling them we're going to be doing more crypto content. Not that I want to see you siphon off money that you have in the stock market off to crypto, but some of you are actively trading crypto, and you're asking me, why don't we have more crypto content? It's just my time demands, honestly. But I'm going to try and make a point of having at least once a week show just dedicated to crypto. So without further ado, let's bring on tonight's guest. And my other guest, I'm supposed to be having a breakfast or lunch meeting with him next week, and we'll work out the details of when he's going to come on. He's got a whole nother set of stuff to talk with you guys about. Tonight, I'd like to welcome, without any further ado, the Crypto Cowboy. How funny is that? Another freaking cowboy.
What's going on, Tony?
Just hanging, enjoying a nice, relaxing Sunday. Got a lot done. Beautiful weather here in Texas.
You ready?
Hope everything is well with you.
Are you in the 100% zone down there?
We are, yeah. I'm planning on going out and watching the eclipse. Maybe setting up my camera in advance so I don't have to stare at the sun and capture it on film. But I'm excited. Good. And hopefully the world doesn't end. I see a lot of people on YouTube saying the world's going to end tomorrow.
That's right.
I don't know why, because we've been through a lot of eclipses, but either way, it's just going to be fun. It's been a while. I can't even remember since we've had 100% coverage.
I was in one. I was happened to be driving through St. Louis. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it was one of those 100% ones. It didn't last that long where I was, but sure enough, crickets come out. It's just crazy in total darkness. So, looking forward to seeing.
Are you going to have a chance to watch it?
Oh yeah. I'm going to live stream it.
Oh, excellent.
That way, if something happens, I heard that some of the Marvel characters might come through some sort of portal somewhere and put some rings on or something.
You never know. You just never know.
I'm going to get it live.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, because my audience doesn't know you. I've known you, practically all my life.
Tell us kids, way back. What's funny is we used to wear hats when we were kids, and how did I end up with no hair and you got to keep yours? That's not fair.
I don't know. I found a picture of myself as a youngster with the cowboy hat on, though. Maybe I'll post that up in the community tab one of these days. I think I posted it in the Discord, but I've always been a cowboy. Tell us about your crypto history. You have gone through at least one boom and bust cycle. Give the folks a little bit of your background as far as crypto. And I know you were bullish. I've been talking to you for the last couple of years. You've been bullish this entire bear cycle that we just exited.
Yeah.
Tell us about your history and how you're doing now.
It's a pretty interesting story. I've always been a techno geek, just love anything and everything, computers, digital. I love math and I love patterns. And Bitcoin is nothing but math. It's just math. So I got into it years ago. I'm no different. First of all, none of this is financial advice. This is my story, what I do. I'm just a regular dude that figured.
And I'm just a cowboy clown. So yeah, no financial advice here. We're just talking. We're just talking and having a beer, y'all.
Yeah, it's crazy because, I've got so many friends and family members that don't get it, but I've spent literally the past 5 years outside of my work. This is my work. And so I love it because it's math and patterns. And so I got into it back in 2017. I had a friend. We used to love to gamble back in the day, and crypto, quite frankly, has cured my gambling, not addiction, but my desire to gamble, because now I know any dollar I bet at the casino is something I could be putting into Bitcoin or some other sort of crypto. And so it cured me of that, right? And so we got into it way back in 2017. I think Bitcoin that was when it was going up from 2,000 to like 20,000, if you guys remember that, back when it first got on most people's radar. So we were playing with it, and I had put a pretty good chunk into it just to mess around with, because I thought it was fun. It's like, if you like that kind of stuff, it's like playing a video game all day, every day.
Yep.
With this kind of thing, right? It's just numbers on a screen. And so we didn't know what we were doing. These numbers go up, they go down, they're red, they're green. Like one day it's down 20%, the next day it's up 60. It's like, what just happened? So within about 3 weeks, I think I doubled my money, which was, like I said, pretty substantial. So I took my initial money out and a little bit of profit, but I had a pretty good chunk in now that was house money, so to speak. And this is, again, in 2017. It was right around the elections. And I remember thinking, I wonder if this is taken off because people are trying to look for something to run away from the dollar. And I didn't know much about Bitcoin, but the crypto stuff was fun. And so after I took that money out, and I still had a substantial amount in, within 3 weeks, that money was gone. Like zero. I was like,
what do you mean gone?
The market tanked.
Okay.
And I was like, what just happened? I'm like, this is crazy. But I still felt something. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. That was too much money. It was a lot. And I'm like, I can't afford to lose that kind of money, even though it was their money, right? Ultimately, it was mine. And so I took it as a lesson, but I understood. I started researching it because it was so fun, just in that little window of a few months. And I liked it. And there was something pulling me towards it. And so I found a over-the-counter ETF, if you will. It's now an ETF. Back then, it had just started, and it was called GBTC. And they were basically a proxy for Bitcoin, but it was over-the-counter. I could buy it within my E-Trade IRA. And I put my initial investment into that. And I said, I don't need the money now. I was a bit younger then, and I was just going to leave it. And so I did. And I just, I don't look at my retirement account every day like I did the crypto stuff because it moves up and down so quick. I just left it and forgot about it and was done with crypto. Well, fast forward 3 years and 2020 comes and Bitcoin's going it went all the way back down to like 3,000. Now it's pushing, it's getting up in the 30s, and it had passed the 20,000 all-time high. And I was like, what the heck? And I looked at my E-Trade IRA, and it was through the roof. And I was like, holy goodness, this is insane. So so I got to ride that all the way up. And it obviously got up to 69,000. Well, somewhere in that mix, I can't remember exactly what time it was. When I did cash out, I said I lost all that money. I did cash out. There were coins that were basically worthless, but I cashed out of all but 5 coins. I couldn't cash out of them because they were all worth less than a penny. So I couldn't convert them, right? When Bitcoin went up to 69,000, as it was climbing, it wasn't up that far yet, but it was climbing. I was like, I'm going to go back in and see what happened to those 5 coins, see where they're at. Maybe they'll be, $10 or something. I went in and looked, and it was $2,500. And I thought to myself, knowing that I still had the E-Trade and saw it going up, the GBTC, this is 2020, 2021. I said, how is this even possible? These things weren't even a penny. I couldn't convert them. And I was like, something's different here and I'm different. When people are going left, I go right. If the house is on fire, I'm running in it. And so I looked at this and said, there's something different here. It's very volatile, but I want to learn. So I invested within a week. I invested I started Googling just things on YouTube with crypto, and some of the podcasts I followed, I found a couple normal dudes that were authentic and not trying to necessarily shill a coin. Ultimately, I think they were, but they're very authentic and just good people. And they have a class every 6 months. They have a class. So I'll tell you what it is, and your audience members might want to check into it or at least watch it. They give out their information for free on their podcast, but they dive so much deeper and give you a true understanding. So it's like taking a master's course in finance.
What's the podcast name? Do you know?
It's Cultivate Crypto.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. Okay.
Yeah. It's Charlie and Miguel. And
right.
Again, they just want to help. Now, obviously, they're in it to teach, and they make money on the courses. And I always say is do your due diligence on anything, whether we talk about it here today or you pick something up on a podcast. Just know that you've got to, it's all on you. Is if you can't afford to lose this money, don't get in crypto, because I can tell you from experience, more than, and we'll get into more of it if you want, is it goes away quick. Because
we say that a lot in stocks too. Like, don't invest if you're speculating in money losing companies.
Yeah.
Do not put more in it than you can afford to lose. And a lot of people hear that, but they don't really internalize it, and then they get mad at everybody else that they lost their money, when everybody knew the saying was, don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Nothing is a sure thing. Not in stocks, not in crypto.
That's exactly right. I took the course and learned a lot. I actually couldn't take the course live. It was, I think it was 2 classes a day for like 2 weeks or something. But they were all recorded. You didn't get the live stuff, but the question and answer, but you got the courses. So I just listened to them all in my own time and learned a lot. And I also watched them every day religiously.
That was when, back in 2020, 2021?
2020, yeah, right around 2021, right at the turn, right when it was almost peaking, right? And so so I learned, and I went for it. I was like, let's see what will happen. I don't care, And I made more money in 6 months than I made in the past 10 years working my job. It was that insane. And I'm like, holy good, what the hell is this, right? I mean, it was like stupid money. And so I proceeded to lose all that because I didn't really know crypto. And so I was like, if I can do that.
And you lost it what? Because you held too long when things came down and the exchanges imploded?
It's going to go up forever.
You thought it was going to go up forever.
And I thought people were honest. And no, I got caught in some of those. We'll talk about them in a bit. Some of the people aren't honest. People are out there trying to make a quick buck.
Yep.
And their intentions may be pure, but there's so many people trying to take advantage of folks, normal folks like you and I. And so I proceeded to lose a lot of it. And a lot of it was, I didn't necessarily sell the coins. They just lost all their value. I kept, oh yeah, it's going to go up. I'm going to put more in it. And ultimately that's fine. I'm buying all the way down. And now it's fantastic because I've been buying through the whole bear market for the past 3 years, which has been brutal, but I eat ramen noodles and it's paying off again. But this time I won't make the mistake of waiting to take profits, and that's it. So
I remember telling you back in 2021, don't forget to take some profits.
I didn't know the markets, and there's so many things that, like I said, I literally just work and then I do crypto, and so I've just learned so much about it, and it's cyclical, you know.
So would you say that you're back to where you were at that heyday, you know, account size wise? Or are you better?
I'm in the green. I'm not back to where I was, but I'm very close, and we haven't even really started. So, yes.
So that is part of our talk today. You think that we still have a long way up to go potentially. What time frame are you looking at when you're thinking that because I still am very uncertain. I feel like we're at a pivot point where things are going to get rug pulled, or we're going to have a downturn, or we could just keep on running.
Yeah.
What if we keep running? What's kind of like your upside target? Because you spend a lot more time looking at crypto than I do. So I'm just curious your thoughts.
It's more than just crypto. It's the macro environment. Like everything involves the US dollar, right? That's the global reserve currency. And when you have a government that can print it like they do, this is an election cycle. Some people can't afford to have the economy be any worse than it already is. So you've got to think they're going to keep printing money. And what happens to risk on assets when they print money? They go up, right? So just Bitcoin basically follows the stock market, especially the NASDAQ and, you know, those tech stocks. What was the acronym for the Google, Facebook, Apple, Netflix? There's some.
Yeah, I know the word you're talking about. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Well, you can take one of those out and put Bitcoin in there now, because it literally it does the same thing. It's the risk on time for those. But
Audio Plug Records has been commenting, and he is voicing what like my main concern is right now. And look, the other gentleman I was talking to yesterday that I want to have on as a guest, he's just as excited about crypto as you are, just as much thinks it's the future. And my concern, like Audio Plug Records is saying, are the people that are, if we're like anyone in the audience right now that's not heavy into crypto, are they going to become the exit liquidity in the next 30 days for the people that have been riding it up? Like, I think that's a legitimate fear. And maybe as we go through this little talk here, we can talk about how to protect yourself. Because you're obviously very bullish. And I want to be bullish, but I also like to have a way to protect my downside.
I'm bullish Bitcoin forever. Like, there's no bad time to buy Bitcoin. You'll buy Bitcoin today, you'll buy Bitcoin tomorrow, but you will buy Bitcoin. It is the future. It goes so deep. It's not just digital gold. It's not just digital real estate. It's not just digital energy. It is so much more, and it's decentralized and it's trustless. So you don't have to have it backed by nuclear weapons or the US dollar or BRICS, whatever their currency is. It's backed by us. So that's why I'm bullish Bitcoin. Nobody, as long as there is one computer working in this world, the Bitcoin network is distributed. It's decentralized. That is what blockchain's about,
Yeah.
So the future is blockchain. Everything will be digitized and tokenized. You can already see the banks doing it. Think about what the banks did. Is first they ignored Bitcoin, then they laughed at Bitcoin, then they fought Bitcoin with FTX and Celsius and Do Kwon and all this stuff going on right now. And then the banks get some ETFs. Okay, so now they want to play. So if people say, what is the future of Bitcoin? Do you think BlackRock's going to create an ETF to lose money? No, they are the casino. They just bought the ticket.
That's been my, like, over the last years, I've seen all of these big institutions making their play to get in Bitcoin and get it to where anybody can trade it in an ETF.
Follow the smart money.
That was like my early heads up that, you need to start getting into Bitcoin back then, because these guys aren't getting into it because it's going away.
So they will do exactly what your listener said soon, but Bitcoin's bull run just started. So what I tell folks is just buy Bitcoin and hold it. And when it dips, buy more. And when it dips again, buy more. And when it dips again, buy more. And 5 years from now, your kids or grandkids will thank you, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, because Bitcoin is the hardest asset ever created in the history of the history. And people say, well, it's just in thin air. Well, what we're doing right now on the internet is what? Thin air. So people say, well, gold is, I got to hold it in my hand. Well, how are you going to get gold if you live in Ukraine? This is a good story I tell. It's like people say, well, what about Bitcoin? It's just digital money. It's funny money, magic money. And I'm like, if you got a millionaire or a billionaire, let's say we got $1 million, 2 families in Ukraine, both the dads are going to get pulled into the war. And so they got to get their kids and their spouse off to Poland. And one of them has a pallet of $1 million in gold bars, and one of them has Bitcoin. So the one with Bitcoin puts it on his cold storage ledger and sews it into his daughter's shirt, and they walk across the border safely. And they plug it into a computer over in Poland, and they got their money. And the ones that have the gold pallets now belong to the Russians. So what do you want to do? It's like, yeah, gold is great, and you need to have some, but you can't move gold like you can move Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor always talks about it. If you don't know who he is Mr. Bitcoin, so to speak. Laser eyes, right? Owns.
Yeah, we know him. We know him.
He said, this is it. This is what did it for me years ago. He said, so the folks that own the land under Manhattan, people say, well, land is a great investment. Bitcoin just passed land or real estate as the hardest investment in the world right now. And people say, well, Michael said, when would be a good time for the people that own the land under Manhattan to sell if they bought it, say, 1700s? When would have been a good time for them to sell that land?
Never really, because it just keeps going up.
Bitcoin's just math.
They're not making any more land in Manhattan,
right? So
and at some point they're not making any more Bitcoin, right?
Boom, right? So the assets, but same story. Do you really own that? What if you don't pay your taxes on that land? Do you really own it? If you have a cold storage wallet, it's in your hand, So, and 2 is you can't take Manhattan with you if you've got to leave the country. And I know that's pretty radical, but what's happening in Ukraine? You think
it's not as liquid as Bitcoin, right? Like it's a process to sell land. It's a process even to sell. It's a process even to sell gold. If you're holding bars or, gold coins, you're gonna have to take it to a dealer somewhere. They're gonna take their cut. It's a process. Whereas I agree with you in that respect. Bitcoin is very liquid.
It is, and Oh shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. It was right along those same lines. No, it'll come to me.
Well, let me ask you while we're paused for a second. Or what are you trading right now? Like, are you? I know that I see on Twitter, for example, everybody and their dog pumping the shit coins again, the altcoins, and those seem to be flash in the pan. You can, if you guess the right one and you're lucky, you can make a lot of money if you get in early and get out. But it's hard to find the right one because these guys mostly have already loaded up before they're pumping it, right? We are the exit liquidity for a lot of those.
I was last bull run, right? So here's the deal. We're early. All right. Bitcoin is crypto, but the rest of crypto is not Bitcoin. Does that make sense? There is one king, and that is Bitcoin. So everything else is for fun or to make more money to put in Bitcoin. Right.
So if you were looking at altcoins, you wouldn't, if you were looking at altcoins, for example, you wouldn't be putting the bulk of your investment in those. You might put some scratch off lottery ticket money in them, or what? How would you allocate?
Depends. Bitcoin is a store of value. It is volatile, right? It has 20% swings just like in the past week, right?
Yep.
So, but it is a store of value because it's just math up and to the right. You know, that's what it's going to do over time. Anyone who has bought Bitcoin, this is a proven fact, when it's at its all-time high, like it was a couple of weeks ago, well, obviously, if it's an all-time high, nobody's ever lost money in 4 years buying Bitcoin. So if I bought at the all-time high 4 years ago, I'm ahead right now, right? Because it went above 69, wherever it was. So just know it goes through these cycles. You don't want to be the exit liquidity with Bitcoin. The difference between Bitcoin and the altcoins, alternative coins, is they multiple X a lot faster than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is so big. Some of these have very tiny market caps. And so just a little bit of money will make your investment move very fast. There's several ways to look at the alternative coins, or the altcoins, I'll call them from here out. There used to be one big one. It was Ethereum, and that is another coin, but it's also what's used to trade the other coins. So its problem, it's faster than Bitcoin, but it is slow and it's so expensive. When I was doing trading back in 2017, it was pennies. Not many people were doing it. It wasn't clogged up. It's kind of like Uber, though. You guys have tried to catch Uber during peak time. It jacks the price up. Same thing with Ethereum. The gas fees go up. So if I'm wanting to trade a meme coin, a stupid whatever, right, it's going to cost me at peak bull run $200 just to make a trade. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And so people come up with alternative ones. So there's a new one that's Solana. It's probably the fastest thing I've seen. Has some issues with stability and the network staying up. And when you can't access your money and things are going to hell in a handbasket or going straight up, you want to be able to flex. And so there's always risks. And it goes back to, are you willing to lose it? I cannot tell you how many thousands of dollars I've lost in crypto. I also can't tell you how many thousands I've made in crypto, but I look at it all as learning opportunities. Won't do that again. I just made a massive one a few weeks ago. It cost me thousands. And I'm like, I knew better. Wasn't paying attention. Sent some money to a wrong address. It's just like a rookie mistake, you know? And I just want to caution everybody. We'll get into the meme coins and all that as well. But the way it kind of goes, if you think Bitcoin, kind of see it as the top, and then Ethereum and Solana are kind of the next ones, the next least riskiest, so to speak, they will go up faster than Bitcoin. They have lower market caps. So as people put money, they'll go up. So your money will multiply quicker. They are riskier though. So they go down quicker too, right? And then next below that, that's where you start getting into some of the coins that actually have utility in the real world, right? What's big right now? AI. There's some AI coins, and they're trying to integrate blockchain technology, which is trustless. Everything's going to blockchain. They're trying to integrate AI with a trustless blockchain. It's pretty cool as you dive into it. I'm still learning that space myself, but the merging of those two technologies is going to change the world. And then you have, so there's companies that have coins that you can buy that's what they're specializing in. And then you get into the more degenerate plays like the pump and dumpers or the meme coins, and what I've seen with the meme coins, I'm a big believer in like Dogecoin because it's culture, right? It's a worthless, it's kind of like the GameStop that whole thing is there's value in it, but there's not value in it. It's a cultural movement, and so value is put in what people put in it. And so I recognize that with Dogecoin or whatever, but that was the only one. I never did any of the other ones until this bull run. And I see, the other big one besides memes and AI is gaming. And I'll talk about that in a minute too. But
what about, I see, and we know, my viewers know, people that have whole channels dedicated to XRP. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I've never bought XRP. That is my thought. Read into that what you'd want. There's scam coins out there. I'm not saying I haven't bought some of those as well. It's like, I don't care where the alpha comes from. I just want alpha. But knowing that XRP is just, they've got so many hurdles. And some friends and I were discussing just the other day, both of them hold the XRP. They've been holding it for 5 years. And I'm like, if you bought pink underwear dog meme coin, you could have 10x versus XRP. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys know what a stable coin is, but like XRP just haven't moved. It's like buying USDC or it goes down. So give me the pink underwear unicorn dog, but what I've found this time is the meme coins. So people that have been in crypto understand how quick those move. And if you catch one at the right moment, which is when they first turn on, you can put $100 in and then everybody else is buying your coins basically. And it just gets crazy. There's people put 100 in something like dog whiff hat, WIF. Back in December, I put $25 in it. And I took it out a week later because it turned into like 17. And I'm like, this is crazy. But I had heard about it and seen it. I thought it was kind of funny. And now that I don't even know what it'd be worth, but it'd be in the hundreds of thousands just for that $25 because it took off in late January. And it's the third high. It's almost as big as Doge. Not quite, but
you put $25 in something and took it out because it fell to $17.
I just wanted to see what it was doing.
I would just leave $25 just as a what if, like just go pollinate every shit coin out there for $25. If it's
that's what I do,
turn into 100,000 on the one that you get lucky.
There you go. There was my lesson. Guess what? I don't do that anymore. So yes. And again, it's a learning lesson. I'm not crying over spilled milk. I bought a bunch after that. It's like, holy shit, I missed the boat, but man, this is gonna be a fun ride. So I try and find fun meme coins that make me laugh, because if they make me laugh, they're probably gonna make somebody else laugh out there. And that's all it is. It's like trading baseball cards or just buying Beanie Babies as a kid, or the fur, whatever those things were called. Just same sort of thing, right? It's the cultural.
But
and then
those are pure gamble plays, right? You're just
that is like
they go up spectacularly and they crash spectacularly, right?
Spectacularly is almost every meme coin goes to zero, period. So you better be ready to lose whatever you put in it. And like I said, I just do it for $25, see what happens. And then if it has wings, or legs, I'll put a couple $100 in it, just see what happens. But no, it's like trying to win the lottery. So guess what? You got a bunch of people that don't know crypto and they get on Coinbase. We'll talk about those here in a minute too. And they see Bitcoin costs $70,000. I can't afford a Bitcoin. They don't know they can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, right? They just see that's $70,000. That's way too expensive. But here's this dog whiff hat for $4. I like that. That's funny. I'm going to buy dog whiff hat. Boom. That's what the normies will do. So folks that have been in crypto recognize this. They'll be buying my coins. for a lot more than $4. So that's kind of the meme story thing. Yeah, it's total degen, like buying a lottery ticket. But you get lucky. There's people put $100 in.
That's what my friend said yesterday. He's like, Tony, I asked him about the altcoins. He said, Tony, the altcoins is where the degens live. Like these are just kids gambling, hoping to get money.
And they have, it's a lot better chances.
And some of them get really, really lucky, but I don't think that we should be, and I might talk about some of those if I decide to play them, but I don't think we should ever talk about those as investment advice. This is like, we're going to throw the dice here.
Fun. Yeah. Those are just fun. It's like, there's this one now, it's a whole series that I don't even know who creates them. This artist creates, and they make fun of political figures, and they draw these cartoon type stick figures, kind of like South Park but they rename the folks. Like,
I'm going to bring that up because I looked up these characters you were talking about.
Laughing my ass off.
What was
Geo Bowden?
Geo Bowden. All right, let me bring up Geo Bowden.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson. Tooker. Carlson. It's like Elizabeth Warren. That made me laugh so hard because if you know crypto, she is the anti-crypto. Like she is the antichrist. So they made a meme about her. I laugh. Other people wouldn't know that, but if you're in the crypto world, that's funny. And that kind of stuff sticks. But there's also a Donald Trump. And so this same person creates all these. Yeah, there they are. Look at those little, that's just fun. And so
each one of these characters is a coin?
Yes. Just a meme coin.
All right, let's look at coin. Nothing. Let's look at coin market cap for Geo Bowden. It went from
so I bought it originally when it came out for 5 cents.
Yeah, 3 cents, and it went up to 70. That's not a bad return, and it's held that for a couple weeks.
So what happened with Geo Bowden is, I sold mine after that first spike you see over there on the left.
Right here?
Because look how long it went out. There was another 2 weeks. It just went straight down. I'm like, it's, whatever. I thought it was funny. It was right. They launched a few of these at the same time. The Donald Trump one, or Trump. And it's like, again, it's just a culture thing. And so I'm like laughing my ass off looking at these things. But I'm like, it's not going to catch on. Well, then apparently the Chinese love the Joe Bowden one because they look at him and laugh because he falls on the plane and trips and doesn't know where he's walking. And they laugh at it. And so they have been running up. I don't know how they know this, but on some of the podcasts I watch, it's like that's being pushed up by that. But there's a whole series. So now these geniuses started creating little memes they put. If you guys aren't on X following any crypto, if you have an X account or Twitter account, follow the crypto stuff. The memes will make you laugh so hard. That's actually how I found out about these. You just put up a for you, suggestion. I was like, that is funny. And so I went, and then you start reading the whole story. And it's like, they started making little videos, and they'll have Tucker Carlson interviewing these people, and it's got their voices. And I'm like, how are they doing all this? This is hilarious. Now
how do you spell the Tucker Carlson one?
It's Tooker, and then like I think it's CURLSEN, or let me see, I've got it somewhere. KURLSON. But again, it's just fun, and it makes me laugh. And crypto is an escape for everybody. Did you find him?
Yeah, let me put this up here.
He gets like Donald Trump on there. He's like, my coin's bigger than everything. Just, on point.
Yeah, I see.
There it is right there.
Tucker talks with Doland over here.
Put it on. If you can watch it, it's not very long. It's funny as shit.
I don't want to get copyright striked.
Okay. I don't know how that stuff works. I'm just a regular cowboy.
No worries. Some stuff to look into. Yeah, those look funny. But I would feel like I'm just gambling,
That's it. It's like but it's not even that. It's fun to own. It's like a baseball card.
Okay. If you put it in that,
That's it.
if you explain it that way, I can get it.
Yeah, and then guess what? You might make a lot of money on it if you get it early.
You might.
If I would have kept that 5-cent Geo Bowden, I mean, no telling. And I didn't have 25. I had like.
All right. So the question I have really is, since that one already ran from 3 cents to 70, where are you finding the next best thing? That's really, I think, what people could get out of this talk. How, if they're not familiar with crypto, and maybe that's a tough question. If you're not familiar with crypto, you're never going to find the next best thing.
Yeah. So Coinbase has a new side wallet, so to speak. It's called Base, and you're going to be able to access it through the Coinbase app. And when that happens, all of those meme coins, I don't have it yet. It's something I'm going to get. All of those are going to blow up, right? You can get them now, not on Coinbase, but you can get them elsewhere. It's called the Base Layer 2 chain. But those are going to be easy to access. You just log into your Coinbase account. There'll be something where you can divert off and grab those. For the other meme coins, like there's something called a Phantom wallet, PHANTOM. You can download. It's on the app stores, and that's a Solana specific chain.
That's not related to the old 2021 Phantom coin, right? That's a different.
No, that's with the F, that one, and it's FTM. That's a separate coin. This one is a Solana based. You can trade Ethereum, and there's another coin on there, Matic, that come loaded on there. But I do it for the Solana meme coins because it is easy to get in and out of them. It costs 3 cents versus $200 if you're trading on the Ethereum chain. And Base is going to be less expensive. But the deal with Base versus Solana gives a lot of that money back to the investors, and we're seeing it in airdrops right now. Base, it's owned by Coinbase, which is owned by the banks. So they're just patting their pockets. Fees are going to be crazy. It's going to be very easy though, so it will be successful. Don't get me wrong. I just like Solana. So.
All right. You want to see if you can grab any questions from the chat?
Sure.
Can you see the chat? I'll put it up on the screen here. If y'all have questions for him, go ahead and drop them in now.
I see names. I don't see chat.
And
there we go.
As far, again, assuming that someone is a beginner that's watching here, what is a good tool or website that you commonly use for looking up charts on coins? Because like a lot of our brokerage apps don't have all these coins on them. I use CoinGecko or
CoinGecko is what I save and record all my trades. Anytime I trade a coin, I record it in CoinGecko if at all possible. It's even listed. Some of these meme coins, they're just shit coins. They're not even listed, right? So, but yeah, CoinGecko, they have a new live version that does have these crazy meme coins and stuff. If you do want to get degenerate, you can get as deep as you want, and there's safe ways to trade as well. As you can get as risky or be as simple as go to Cash App and buy Bitcoin, go to PayPal, buy Bitcoin, go to Venmo, buy Bitcoin, go to Coinbase, buy Bitcoin.
Or go to your brokerage account and buy a Bitcoin ETF, right?
Then you don't have to worry about storing it.
The only downside, because I've done that before, the downside to that is you can't, depending on the broker, you can't trade it in aftermarket hours. At least back then I couldn't. So if it's running overnight and you're wanting to get out, your brokerage is closed.
Robinhood comes in handy for that. Cash App, all those, that's all digital. You can just sell it at any time. They've changed now too over the years. As used to, when you bought on there, they wouldn't let you send it anywhere. It's like, I don't want them to have my coins. So
right.
This is where the cold storage versus Venmo or whoever, hot storage, whatever you would call it, the hot wallet, so to speak. The easiest way to describe the reason that having your own ledger or cold storage is important is look what the governments of Canada did to the truckers last year whenever they claimed they were terrorists. They shut down their money. They took all of their banks. They couldn't pay bills. Not only that, if you donated money to them, they locked your accounts. So, people say our money's safe in the banks until it's not. So you can buy it on any of those and transfer it. It's literally a 5-second transaction, and you send it to yourself. And they have, the saying, not your keys, not your coins, along those lines, is if you don't have it on your person, they can do that. Coinbase could, and most likely the government will, just as they confiscated everyone's gold back in the early 1900s. They could do that on Coinbase. There's nothing stopping them. That's why Bitcoin is best held by yourself. It's more challenging to do that, but it's safer ultimately.
Yeah, I've done some videos on cold storage wallets. So when we're talking about having your own cold storage, it's getting your own ledger, something like this, so that all of your coins are tracked in here. They're not held on a FTX or a Coinbase or somewhere else where if that exchange gets shut down, you're wiped out.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the utility of something like this? Like, do you keep 100% of your coins on cold storage, or do you keep like the highest portion of it, the safe, like all your Bitcoin on there, and you keep your funny money on more liquid exchanges? What are you doing right now?
It's just like anything else. You don't ever want to have all your eggs in one basket. So I'll have some on Coinbase. I'll have some on my ledger. I'll have several ledgers, just whatever. You don't want them all in one place, because if something goes wrong, as it did to me last time, you're SOL. Why have everything tied up in one place? Yeah. And so I would suggest, the majority of it, you have on your ledger on your person, and then have some in these other places just for either trading or whatever. But you don't have it all in one place. And then, of course, you got the ETFs, and there's a couple other proxies out there as well. The one I'm highest on, actually, probably where I have more money in crypto than anywhere else, is MicroStrategy, which is owned by Michael Saylor, we were talking about earlier. It's basically a proxy for leveraging Bitcoin.
Tell us about your thesis on MicroStrategy.
So basically, he uses this worthless fiat coin called the US dollar, right? Backed by the US government. He uses worthless fiat to buy Bitcoin, and he buys it in bulk. And when he buys it, price goes up, right? Obviously not all the time. Bitcoin is a massive market, but here's what he does. He buys it. Over time, he knows Bitcoin price goes up. It's just math. So when it goes up, he'll go back and raise more money to buy more Bitcoin with a less than 1% fiat loan. And it just keeps doing it. It's genius. It's like, it's going to go up. He knows it.
It's genius as long as it's still going up. What happens to him if Bitcoin crashes back down?
Look, it's just like Bitcoin. It's a proxy. It's a leverage proxy. So it's going to go up faster, like it's doing right now. It's going up faster than NVIDIA. It's just insane. But it's going to go down faster too. Like it went down, lost 25% in the past week. That to me is a buying opportunity, because I know where Bitcoin's going. And guess what MicroStrategy is? Leverage Bitcoin. So it's my retirement account. I don't care. I don't need it tomorrow. How about looking 5 years from now when Bitcoin's worth a lot more than it is right now, and he's got 1% of all the Bitcoin in the world ever created in the history of the history? He's going to be the biggest bank around.
I think that's another important point to touch on for people that might be listening. If you're thinking about getting into crypto, how you trade crypto and how much money you put into it, you should be thinking about what is the timeline you need that money, right? You definitely don't want to be mortgaging your house, for example. I'm picking an extreme example to load up on Bitcoin if you're going to need that money in 6 months because it could crash in 6 months, right?
But believe me, that happens. It's happened to me
But
twice.
so you need to size your bets according to the time frame of when you need that money. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you had asked earlier how long I think it's going to run is all we have to go off of is past history, right? And Bitcoin runs in 4-year cycles. I noticed it always came up around election time. That's what actually clued me into it.
Is it election time or is it the halving though?
It's the having, but it happens right to its advantage, I think. Flock to safety, so to speak. But it typically goes up after the halving anywhere from a year to 18 months. So that's when the bull run starts, and most of the gains are made like in the last 2 months of the altcoin run of that. So it's very hard to time it. I would never try and time it. It's like take your profits all the way up and know that it's coming back down. But this time it's different in that the banks are buying. So sovereign nation states are buying. There's somebody that's buying 100 Bitcoin every hour or 8 times a day or some insane amount. Nobody knows who this person is, but they've been doing it since November every day, buying more than what's being mined, And so that doesn't even include the banks and the countries. And, El Salvador plugged a friggin' Bitcoin mining machine into the side of a volcano to use the energy from there. And he's making money hand over fist.
Tell us, for those, again, that are new, give us a layman's definition of the halving. We know that it has to do with Bitcoin. I mean, I know what the halving is, but pretend that you're talking to someone that's just getting started learning about crypto, thinking about maybe putting a couple $100 in Bitcoin. What is the halving? When is it happening? Why is it important to understand what it is?
Let me go back a little bit. I'll come back to that. So if gold price goes up, what happens to gold mining?
If gold prices go up, well, for one thing, because like we're watching some junior mining companies, like some companies that are in exploration phase, right? It makes them more economically viable.
Right.
So high cross mining, for example, is not, they're not actively mining right now, but the price of gold's going up, and so is the price of that stock. And everyone's like, why is the stock going up? It's because the price of gold's going up, and that means that should they decide to start mining, the project just became more economically viable.
And guess what? They will get more gold out of the earth. When price goes up with gold, the mining companies turn on their miners, right?
Yeah, some projects that weren't viable before become viable, just like when the price of oil goes up.
That gold now goes into the market. So it's not a finite amount, right? So Bitcoin,
and then eventually that brings the price back down, right? Because the supply increases.
There you go. There's the math part. Bitcoin is mined. It's a great analogy. It's the Bitcoin network, the blockchain network, is protected by the miners. They do all the calculations that require all the energy to basically get rewarded by securing the network. They get paid in Bitcoin, and so they're called miners. And the miners get paid in Bitcoin, and then they're free to keep that, sell it. They'll sell it to like a Coinbase or whoever, directly to MicroStrategy, whatever they do. I don't know how that works. But there's only, I think it's right now 900 something created every day of Bitcoin worldwide. That number used to be a lot more when you could do it on your laptop. It didn't require the computational power and energy that it does now. You could do it on a laptop and print thousands of Bitcoins. Kids did it.
Yeah, we were pricing some miner rigs right now. They're like 50 grand for a top of the line one.
Yeah. So it takes so much energy because it's just math. This is by design. is it becomes harder to mine and get rewarded in Bitcoin. So it really, you got to invest a lot of money to be a Bitcoin miner, or you got to have free energy, plug into the side of a volcano, right? Burn off use the gas burn off of so many of these energy plants. People say Bitcoin is energy suck. No, it's the opposite. Bitcoin saves energy. It is the answer to our energy problems, because energy is money, so to speak, right? And yeah, it's the ability to transfer the value of energy.
So what's going to happen? The halving is it's an increase in the computation to mine one bit, or to solve the Bitcoin.
Becomes harder, and
I can't think of the right word.
They reduce the amount of Bitcoin that's rewarded by half. So instead of 900, it's 450.
Okay.
And so guess what? Supply just went down. With gold, when the price goes up, supply goes up, and cost comes, or price goes down. With Bitcoin, there's only 21 million. 4 million of those are lost. Satoshi owns, I don't know how many. He's never reappeared. The whole story behind Bitcoin is crazy. The founder handed it off to some folks and said, this is your answer. This is my gift to humanity. And he hasn't been heard from since. But he has a bag wherever he is, or she, or they, or whatever it is. And so people always worry about that. It still doesn't matter. There's only 21 million ever to be made. And people don't understand that Bitcoin can be divisible so many times.
So the miners are going to get rewarded half for solving the same computations. Let me just do an aside on that real quick. What would you think if you were looking at or investing in there's these mining companies, Bitcoin mining stocks. What's going to happen to those companies? Like I saw a lot of their prices coming down, and people were like, why are the prices of these stocks coming down when Bitcoin's going up? And for me, the answer seems kind of logical, but.
Well, there's several things. One, that is another proxy. That's, really the third proxy besides MicroStrategy and the ETFs is I think there's like CleanSpark and Riot and all these mining companies. The ones who were investing in capital equipment and it's so energy heavy and computational power heavy. Though I don't follow it because I just want to buy MicroStrategy and not have to worry about it. I don't want to have to worry.
I just prefer to buy the coin itself instead of dealing with all the hassle of a mining company stock, because you got all the risk of the energy costs, the hardware, a couple people to run it.
Yes. And so it's going to do exactly like MicroStrategy. It's going to go up faster. It's going to drop faster. And if you're not one of the top ones, these folks don't get near the Bitcoin. They don't have the computational power to harvest enough, so to speak. And so they have old equipment. When this thing halves in a couple of weeks, they're going to be out of money. They're going to be priced out.
That's why I thought, the logical answer to why these companies' prices are dropping is a lot of them are about to get wrecked.
They track that. There's like, if Bitcoin stays above 60, I don't track it because I don't follow that part, but I know it's out there. I've seen them talk about it. Seen people talk about it. There's a number. It's in the 60,000s right now, but for them to be profitable, Bitcoin has to be over that price. And there's just, there's several publicly traded companies that do that. That's only 25% or 20% of all the mining done with Bitcoin in the world, though, is these publicly traded U.S. companies. There's just a quarter is how much is China mining? How much is Russia mining? How much is, whoever, El Salvador mining? Nobody knows how much is. It's just nobody knows. So I always say, get off of zero.
So here's my concern. The halving, there's a lot of hype about it right now. There's just, as you mentioned, the expectation of the 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
And my concern as we approach the halving date and or the election date is if you're stepping in now, are you stepping into a potential rug pull? How do you protect your risk if you're wanting to? All right, I'm willing to dabble in Bitcoin if it drops to X price. Maybe that's a buying opportunity, or maybe that's just the rug pull starting. I don't know. We won't know until the next week. But let's just say you're a buy the dip gambler degenerate on Bitcoin, and it starts going back up. What is the consensus thought out there? Because you're plugged into all these people, the reasonable ones over the short term, like by the end of this year. What is the thought of where it's headed? And I know nobody knows, no one has a crystal ball.
Yeah.
And I know there's crazy price targets. I know there's bears. Just saying, what does your average normal bull think that Bitcoin is headed to?
So Bitcoin has never hit an all-time high before. Every 4 years it has, right? Bitcoin's never hit an all-time high before that. It typically happens, anywhere from 2 to 6 months after. It's different this time because the ETFs are in the game, but I would be hesitant to buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So traditionally after the halving, Bitcoin drops. Where it drops, who knows? But I always tell folks, all they're trying to do is shake you loose of your coins. It doesn't matter how low it goes. For Bitcoin to go to zero, everybody would have to sell.
Well, I mean, that's all well and good, but I don't like losing money. So if you were knowing my risk tolerance, if I were to buy Bitcoin on Monday, you would say the reasonable thing to do would be out sometime before the halving date.
Depends what you mean by be out. There's never a time to sell your Bitcoin.
Well,
the rest of crypto, yes.
For me, the time to sell my Bitcoin is if I think it's going to drop 20, 30, 50%, especially 50%. I could weather a 20% drop and not be emotional about it. But
so the way I would recommend doing that then, and this is quite frankly the way I would recommend for anyone to do it, new, old, is whatever. It's just dollar cost average. If you're going to lump sum buy, you deserve to get wrecked.
All right, that's a fair.
Put $100 in a month, and then you're buying at the high end, you're buying at the low, and who cares? Because I don't need the money. If you need the money, don't do this.
If you need the money, don't do this. That's I think good advice. And dollar cost averaging is a way to spread out your risk instead of what a lot of people do is they get the fear of missing out. They take all their money. I'm going to take my retirement plan and I'm going to put it all into Bitcoin next week. And then those are the people that get wrecked, right? When
I was one of them. Been there, done that.
What they maybe should have done was a little bit every month or every week,
Yep.
And that way, whether it goes up or down, if your thesis is that over the long term, you've got to also have a thesis that over the long term, it's going to be fine. You might be down for 4 years, but you spread your buys out so that you capture the bottom too.
Yep. That's it. But 1 year in crypto, like 10 years in the stock market. If you don't got the cojones to handle a 30% drop, don't get in crypto because that's a Tuesday. It's insane. It's like my thoughts last week, and I actually questioned myself. I'm like, oh, Bitcoin's going to go up. It just hit an all-time high. It's a couple weeks from the halving. It's just going to take off when the market's open again on Monday. Now, Bitcoin's traded 24/7, but the banks, the Bitcoin banks, the ETFs aren't. And so I'm like, it's going to go through the roof. And what does it do? It goes down like 8% in 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, okay, it's got to go back up. And no, it's like just when you think it's going to go back up, no, they're going to put a little more paint on you and drop it even more. And then I recognize what they're doing, and I'm buying all the way down because I know where it's headed. But I've spent the past 5 years studying. So don't trust me. Do your own research. It's like you got to have the faith and understanding where Bitcoin's going to do what I do. And if you don't, then just trade it. Just do what you said is, I want the big swings, and then I'm out. But ultimately, as Bitcoin goes through this bull run, and what it's done in the past has gone up and to the right for about 6 months to 18 months, and then it goes down fast. So if you want to get your Bitcoin, and hopefully you already have it by now. The problem is I've been collecting it over the past 3 or 4 years, and while the Bitcoin bull market isn't in full swing, it's already started. So don't go all in. Just try it, learn it.
The last time I went heavy in Bitcoin and Ethereum was like the month of June 2021. It had spiked up to 58,000 prior to that in March, and it was dropping, and it was in the 30,000s in June of 2021, and I was comfortable buying it there.
Right now, double.
And then I sold it on the run up to 60,000. I sold it in brackets.
There you go.
What I did not do was dollar cost average over the last 2 years. So now I'm sitting here, I'm talking me. I'm sitting here. It's now at like 69,000. I don't know if I feel comfortable buying in right now.
That's what everybody says. Like, I'm buying at every top. Doesn't matter. It's just math. So you can buy now, you can buy later, but you're going to buy. And it's not going to be, will it go back down? Who knows? Yes. But by how much? Or will it, when it runs up to wherever it's going to run up? Is it going to come back down here? I don't have the answer to that. Is it going to go lower? Maybe. But I'm going to keep buying it because there's only going to be 21 million ever. And if every millionaire in the world right now tried to buy one Bitcoin, they couldn't. There's not enough left.
Music says, and I kind of agree with this comment. A lot of us that have been watching the institutions worm their way into the crypto world, the big players are the ones that I feel, and many people feel, drive the cycles. And so they can dump it 5, 10, 20% in a day, and there's not much we can do about it.
So that's Thursday. The next day, everybody buys that coin. Believe me. Like right now, they're alternating their buys because if they both tried to buy on the same day, the big ones, Fidelity and BlackRock, they're alternating. You can go look. It's on chain. Here's the other thing. It's like people say you can hide money. But everything is on chain. You know where it's not? In the stock market. They can hide what they do. You don't have to publish it all till later. No, it's like people figure this shit out too on a blockchain. You can see it. So you know what they're doing with their money, and they're rotating their buys. Because if they both try to buy the same day, they wipe stock out. And then there's others that have to dump their, the GBTC one I was talking about earlier, they have to dump theirs. The SEC is making them do it. And so anyway, the banks are going to keep buying. Yes, they will control the cycles. But guess what? Bitcoin is the first asset that was front run by the people. The banks are late to the game. They will never, like BlackRock owns about what Michael Saylor does. Now, they bought theirs in 2.5 months. They bought 1% of all the Bitcoin ever to be mined. So, yes, they're going to be a player, but it's only 1%. So, the people have the Bitcoin. That's what's cool.
Clark says, Julie and I have Shiba Inu and Dogecoin, and they're waiting for the Bitcoin halving. Do you know off the top of your head what the halving date is?
It's supposed to be 4/20.
4/20. All right.
How about that?
Audio Plug says you're going to buy. I don't know if you're asking me, but I have not been buying into this run up. Every time it dips, Audio Plug, I think about it. And then I figure I can find safer plays in the stock market. But I could take some funny money that I won't miss and start throwing it at some dips. What I don't want to be doing myself is thinking that I'm buying a dip and I'm just buying the crash on the way down.
That's what I did. That whole first cycle, the first real
4
cycle.
years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've ultimately, if I'd have held on to the coins, which I did most, but I sold some, I did the buy high, sell low. That was my strategy, and it paid off handsomely. Said nobody ever, but it happens, right? And you learn. So
you guys, I think you can tell, the crypto cowboy and I, we're in different places in our comfort level of investing in crypto. He's obviously very bullish. I'm more conservative, but I'm trying to foster some discussion here, and I'm also trying to learn a little bit more about what the bull thesis is, so that if I decide at some point in the future to buy,
it's really easy.
that I'm talking to people.
Supply is getting cut in half in 2 weeks. There's very little Bitcoin available right now at the exchange.
I understand what you're saying with the having the new supply will be cut.
Demand
That the other part of the factor is the demand,
10x over what's being produced every day. So you do the math. It's like,
well, that is the demand right now, but who's to say that demand holds up if it starts coming down?
They haven't even started selling to their customers yet, right? These banks, takes them about 90 days to kind of watch and see what's going to happen, right? You understand how the ETFs work. And so, I think BlackRock's already got JP Morgan. I think there's like 4 or 5 that have agreed to have their salespeople promote these ETFs. That hasn't happened yet. And guess what? Like, now that they can have it in ETF, you think some of these retirement accounts are going to want to put their folks' money in something that performs better than any other asset in the past 10 years by far?
Well, I mean, that's what you would think, but when I read what financial advisors are telling their customers, they're saying like 1% exposure. The risk is just too much.
They said that. Now they're saying 50%, 15%, 50%.
No
all over.
way. No way.
Go look.
I will look.
Yeah. Now there are some, don't get me wrong, that's not all of them, but Larry Fink said on national TV, we have never seen an ETF take off this way. This exceeded all of our expectations. We just did not see this coming. It's last week. He said it on CNBC or one of the morning shows.
All right. That'd be a good video topic for me to go find him saying that.
He's the one. If he's buying Bitcoin, why aren't we?
The other thing is, like in the stock world, we don't trust people like Larry Fink.
Hell no.
And a lot of times they say stuff to get you to buy at the top right before they use you as exit liquidity for what they've been buying.
Look, they're going to do that all the way through the bull cycle, all the way through. For the past 5 years, he said it's trash.
Yep.
And
while he was buying it cheap.
Oh,
right. So the fact that he goes out bullish on it now makes me a little more concerned.
I get that, but I also know where it's going, so I don't care.
I absolutely said that. When they were trashing Bitcoin a year ago, I knew that was a psyop so that they could load it up cheap.
And that's what they're doing now. They're crashing. You can see them go for the leverage longs and shorts nonstop on this capitulation. It's just every day. And then boom, you'll see them wick down and get the leverage longs, and then boom, they'll wick up and get the leverage shorts, and then they'll keep all their Bitcoin and just
yeah. So that's what bit people really bad several years ago, was a lot of people were buying crypto on margin. Is that still, after the whole FTX debacle, is that still a big problem? Is it easy to get leverage on crypto?
You like to be a DJ gambler? Go for it.
But it's still possible. Wrecked. Is it still possible out there to leverage up on crypto?
Oh yeah, you're going to get wrecked. But yes.
Yeah, I never have recommended that strategy, because they will stop loss hunt you. They'll push the price down.
Oh yeah,
and wreck your leverage position.
Yep, happens every day. I mean, they've literally been doing it since the ETFs got on board. Just every week, you can see it coming. It's like clockwork. So again, it's coming. What do? Follow the smart money. When it hits resistance, short it. If you're a trader, and when it It's resistance on the bottom side. Long it. It's taking candy. But you got to follow the stuff. It's like you can't just come right in, and I wouldn't even recommend leverage trading. But if you follow it, it's just math and patterns.
Yeah. I think for anybody that's listening in, if you're just thinking about getting into this, just like when you're thinking about getting into a stock, you need to do some appropriate amount of due diligence to really know what you're doing. And I certainly don't want to see people like they did with a lot of the meme stocks just pile all their money into something they know nothing about right at the top and think they're going to get rich. Because
human nature, they're going to do it again. Then they're going to be buying my coins.
Bitcoin could go to 100,000, but it also could drop back down to 30. So
you got to learn it. I always tell folks, just get off of zero. Open a Robinhood account on one of these other ones. I don't, fees, whatever. Find one that you like, and it'll draw it. There's actually, you can have it taken out of your paycheck now and go to a company. I think they're called Strike, and they'll buy Bitcoin for you and send it to your wallet. But you can do $25 a week, $25 a month. Don't go all in. Put a little bit in and watch it and learn. You will never see something go up and down so fast. It is, if you like fast paced, and I love that kind of stuff.
But if you're risk averse or you really need the money in the short term, this is probably Bitcoin. Not for you.
No. Ultimately, but no, not now. It's too volatile. Only if you can afford to lose it. And again, all of this is just what I've done, what I'm doing, and what I'm going to do. It's not financial advice. So do your homework. You will get wrecked. I can promise you that. And I can guarantee you will lose money. But if you learn and stick with it, there is no better way to make generational wealth than.
So what is your plan to have you been taking some profits off the top? Or is your account, I don't want to ask too much personal info in here, but are you fully 100% invested in crypto, or are you siphoning some off on these bull cycles and socking some cash away for a rainy day? What's your protection plan for yourself? Or are you just full port degen?
My bags are fully loaded. I've got the coins that I want, both, whether it's Bitcoin or alternative coins or meme coins. I've got what I want. I'll still play around because I think it's fun. I enjoy it. So I'll still invest more, but I've spent the past 4 years building. And so yes, what I'm doing this time is I'm gonna be selling all the way up, just as BlackRock does. And then when it hits, I'll still have some, but I don't have to sell at the top, or even if it goes over the top. I know now. I know. It's like I've learned the patterns. So
that gets my question. That gets my question. Like on Bitcoin, what do you think the top is? Because we had a recent high of 72. That would have been a good time to take some money off.
Frame? I mean,
well, that's what I'm asking you. If in this short time frame in 2024, do you have any plans to siphon some cash off for a rainy day, or are you just saying, Tony, I don't care because I'm in it for 10 years, and if it drops to 30K, that's not a big deal to me?
So I won't sell my Bitcoin, but I know the altcoin market as well. So I've got a bunch of those. I will sell those and convert those either to Bitcoin or, paying bills, whatever you want to do. But yeah, and even with Bitcoin you got to live off of it. Yeah, sell some. But ultimately, it goes back to when would be a good time to sell the land under Manhattan? Never. What do you do? What do the rich people do? They take loans against their assets and live off the loans. And the value goes up, they get a new loan. That's how it works. Bitcoin's, it's going to be the same thing. And it's going to be the most valuable asset in the world. It's like if you did picture it as real estate, it's one of its many things is digital real estate. This is a land rush, and all of the coastal waters right now are being bought up. All of them. Do you want to own some oceanfront property, or do you want to own part of Nebraska? Right? Or do you want to own an apartment in wherever? That's what's happening. If you want to look at it as digital real estate, is all the good stuff's getting bought up now. You can get in at some point. You can buy some land, so to speak, Bitcoin. You're not going to be able to buy as much, and it's going to be more expensive. So when is a good time to buy? What is the top? I don't know. I've heard, again, I'm no predictor, but I've heard anywhere from 80,000 to 500,000 by next year. I don't know. Depends how crazy the money printing gets and how crazy the world gets. And maybe it drops to whatever because of some black swan event. Somebody goes crazy with a whatever, and who knows, but I'm going to keep buying.
All right. Audio Plug says that's FOMO talk. Well, I don't think there's any denying you're a mega bull, right? And you're a long-term,
you don't have to. I had somebody say this to me last time when I made so much. They're like, that's fake money. That's funny money. I just told this person how much I made. Now, granted, I didn't keep it, but I could have. I will this time. But that person said it's funny money. And I'm like, do you understand what you just said? I just told you how much I made on it, And this is at the time it was still going up. So it is whatever you make of it. It's fun.
I've watched, I follow the guy Slum Doge Millionaire on Twitter. The guy that made a few $1,000,000 on Doge, and then he never sold it, and it went all the way back down. He's finally happy again because it came back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just am thinking to myself, like, if I was ever up $1 million on crypto, I would be at least 50% of it. I don't care how bullish I am long term. Take some of the fucking money and put it in the bank.
Lessons learned.
Or go buy some real estate or something. De-leverage your risk. It's fine to be a perma bull, but just like everything, you're not ahead till you take some out.
That's it. Ultimately. So, yeah. Well, hey, I'm going to have to head out. Did y'all have any other questions?
Yeah, let's take one or two questions if y'all got them. He's got an early meeting in the morning, so I promised him we wouldn't stay on too late today. And I appreciate your time tonight, sharing your thoughts. I hope we can have you back, and I'm going to be doing a little more content on crypto as I start tracking what's coming up with the halving and track, because this is an interesting time for crypto. It's good reporting, good content.
There's some really fantastic other YouTubers out here, just as your folks don't probably just watch you, they probably watch other things as well. I have one that I always tell everybody about because this is most authentic. I'm big on authenticity. It's like you see these pumpers and you know what they're doing. And this guy just pours his heart out. And
BitBoy?
His money. His name's Invest Answers.
Invest Answers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Check him out. He just teaches. That's all he does. And tells you what he's doing, but he's got a lot of conviction and he's just a math genius. He's got a full team helping him. He comes across as authentic, and he's not right every time. Nobody is. But if you want a good place to learn from someone authentic, just like yourself, right?
If he makes a mistake, can we go blame him?
Yeah. I'm sure it happens all the time, right?
The favorite thing of any audience member, if you get something wrong, I'm blaming you.
The whole thing is like, I blame nobody but myself because I didn't do the work.
You have the right attitude, right? Everybody's here listening for entertainment to get ideas and opinions, but ultimately, guys, whatever you do in any investment, I don't care if you're buying crypto, stocks, a house, a car, a business, you do the DD. Get information from a variety of sources, but don't just get it from one. Not from me, not from the Crypto Cowboy, not from Invest Answers, not from Larry Fink. Take in a variety of information. That is doing the DD.
That's it.
And then you hold yourself accountable for your decision. You're the one pushing the buy or sell button.
Mm-hmm. And it moves fast, real fast. But again, they're just trying to shake you free of your coins, you know. So again, for the invite, we'll have to do this again. If you guys come up with some questions or something, and you know, there's so much more out there. I need to get into stable coins, and there's just so many ways. Airdrops.
Yeah, we can talk about airdrops maybe on a future call. I have some videos already out on stable coins, guys. I do have a playlist on crypto, so go check that out. I'll be putting some more content on there here going forward, at least once a week. And if you're watching this on replay and you got a question for the Crypto Cowboy or myself, feel free to leave a comment down below, and if it's for him, I'll get that to him so we can prep for next time we have him on. I do have some other guests that I plan to bring you guys. I know the other gentleman that I'm talking to also is a mega bull, but I haven't really asked him about his risk mitigation strategy. So maybe when I meet with him for lunch and we talk about doing a live stream, I'll get a feel for where he's at on that also. And I think he can bring some other topics to the table, and maybe, who knows, we'll have everybody on for a multi-guest live stream one day also. Thank you for your time, everybody, tonight. Go check out my Sunday video update that I uploaded about 90 minutes ago. A quick little, especially if you're in AMC, it's a dilution update and how I'm going to be trading into next week. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you on the next one.
Buy Bitcoin, not financial advice.
Let me run the outro here. You can hang out behind stage here for just a minute.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back.